It's okay to not have to be the hustle and bustle and have to go home for the holidays. And it's okay to say, my family or just me are going to do something different this year. And that's okay to do that. And it's also okay to do that, but still grieve what you're transitioning out of, what maybe is changing or being lost.
It's so hard because we do what we can to make sure that everybody's in a safe environment. But sometimes trying to explain it to kids is really hard because they don't understand. Life hasn't happened to them yet. And so, we just have to take the grace and the patience to be like, honey, I know that this is what you're feeling. Let's talk about it.
Grief is so convoluted. It's so many things because it is grief of the life I wanted, grief of the life that I had, grief of the actual person that's not here anymore, or grief of the tradition of the household, whatever it is. Like grief is so heavy and so avoided. I think so many of us avoid naming it. And it's just, oh, I'm angry at this person, situation, place, thing, or I'm sad about this. And it's like, hi, hello, that's grief.
Three women, three paths, one mission to prove that your story is not your limitation, to guide you towards your muchness, to explore the unfiltered truths, and to challenge every bit of belief that built your mask. This is Go Be Too Much, the unapologetic space for the bold, the healing, and the unfinished, where we decide what's too much was always meant for more. So let's chat. Maybe we'll fuck around and find out just how unmissable we all are.
Hi, welcome back to the Go Be Too Much podcast. I'll do that for MJ, Cassie, Mandy here. I believe when this episode is going to be airing, we will be in the motherfucking trenches of the holiday season. And working in a high school, I have a lot of conversations with kids about when the holidays aren't so holly and jolly and when breaks are not exciting. Teachers, staff, everyone is like counting down the days till we get to go on winter break because we get 19 uninterrupted days of break. And that's great if you love the holidays, if you have a safe space for the holidays, if you have free will during the holidays. But sometimes that is not the case for all of us. I mean, talking to the adults on my campus about limiting family time and everyone talks about what you do for holidays. Like it's me and my dog and we just hang out in the silence because that is what I need. I used to make fun of my boyfriend in college because he would get so overwhelmed at our family gatherings because it was literally chaos. We're yelling and screaming and throwing things. And he was like, you guys don't open presents one by one. So there's 86 of us. We'd be here all fucking night. Okay. It is a free for all. You're throwing it at each other. And I'm like, quit being so sensitive. And now that I've moved away and I have seen alternative ways of doing things, I'm like, oh, hmm. I still don't think I'd go back and apologize to him, but that's me staying petty. But like, I get it. I get it. I get it. So I think, Mary, I don't want to speak for you, but when we, talked about what we're going to, process today, grief around the holidays, feelings in general around the holidays, the season of all the things.
Yes. And grief, it's one of those topics that I think will come up more and more as we're doing this. It's maybe been dabbled in a little bit, but not heavily. For me, is such a pivotal point of view to talk about with people because we put grief in a box and we put it in this black and white, it's death and living. And grief is so much more than that. And times I will work with people and we will be working on stuff and I will throw out there if they're grieving and they'll be like, what are you talking about? Right. And I'm like, well, so this is your first holiday alone.
Hmm.
You've never not gone home for the holiday. You don't have a partner. You are just home by yourself. Are you grieving that life there? You used to always go home. You always had people around, the traditions, the things that you're missing out on. And how that and a lot of times they're like, oh my god, right, and we're in denial of that and we're trying to be like, oh, it won't be that big of a deal and stuff. And so yeah, I wanted to talk about how that kind of grief affects us in the holiday season. And also grief of, you know, relationships.
Grief of
It was
expectations of what should have been, could have been,
right.
would have
Yeah.
been.
Yeah. This is my third Christmas since my divorce. It is a first Christmas in a brand new home. And still getting settled and this, that, and the other. And so it's a little bit chaotic and it's a little bit more cluttered than what we'd like it to be, and not as like, winter wonderlandy magic like I normally do, right? And it's just all these things. And the hardest part for me is remembering, I'm in a really good place. Like I don't necessarily feel the grief of like how Christmas used to look, and I get excited about like figuring out what we're going to do, what activities, how are we going to spend Christmas Eve this year? What traditions do we have that we keep doing? Like when we put up the Christmas tree, we always watch the Santa Claus. And what traditions are we going to start maybe? And so like I'm in that place. But for me, it's not just me. It's also my two kids. And they're at very different phases in their life. One is 7, one is 15, gonna be 16. And I very much was reminded the other day of my teenager's grief and the holidays. And for those that don't know, my oldest is actually my bonus daughter. I'm not her biological parent. However, I've been her mom, a mom, since she was 4. So she is my kid through and through. And I'm very blessed that despite what happened with her dad and I, he continues to support our relationship and she continues to be with me as much as she is. And I was reminded again, like I often am through something with her, that she has 3 families, 3 Christmases.
Mhm.
And even though I'm in this better place with our situation,
Mhm.
she may not be. And how can I respect that? How can I respect her grief and her heavy emotions around it, even if she's not really expressive of it? And the same thing for my youngest. She's learning emotions. Just yesterday, she had a big emotional purging day where I tell you what, we felt every feeling through the book, and it was not even 9:30 and AM. And I had recently got her emotion cards to try and help with like an emotional quarter and things like that to help her. And we sat down with this card and it has a thermometer of, happy, sad, worried, frustrated, angry. And she pretty much pointed to every single one. And some of what came out absolutely has to do with the holidays and her
Mhm.
dad and me. And again, giving them that space to feel that. And by doing that, it also reminds me that grief still comes up for me. As much as I may be in a good place, a better place, know that this is absolutely where we all should be. I also get to say, man, I remember when too.
Mhm.
And so I want to share with everybody that, because I want you all to know that even if you are doing better, grief is not the 5 stages. You don't just go from one to the next, and it's over. Grief comes in waves,
Mhm.
and you learn to ride that tide,
Mhm.
and they have different meanings as they come up for us. And, early on, it might have been that those waves came up and it was wishful of wanting that back. Whereas now those things come up and it's just the heartbreak for my kids and knowing that I can be doing what's best for them and it can still be hurting them.
So you saying that reminded me of a conversation we had with Davina the other day. And we were driving, and for context, Davina absolutely loves me. But she was like, "Can you guys please not get married?" And we were like, "What?" And she's like, "I don't want you guys to get divorced."
Oh.
Like, that's her biggest fear with Rick and I, is that we're gonna get divorced. And I was like, "Honey," like explaining these things, like, that's not how we're feeling, like, that's not in the cards. And she's like, "I know, but that happened with mom and dad." Right? And for context on that, Rick and Sarah, I think we're together for like 13 years. And then I've been in Davina's life since she was 5 and she's 10 now. And she was like, "Well, you said you'd never get a divorce with mom either." And so we had to tell, it's so hard. Kids are so fragile, right? And we were like, "Honey, are you the same person you were when you were 6?" And she's like, "No." We're like, "Oh, are you the same person you were a year ago?" She's like, "No." And we're like, "Exactly." Like, as humans, like we talked about in our last episode, I was like, we grow and we change. And sometimes, that doesn't work out. I was like, and we do the best we can, because just like you, Mary, we're a blended family. And in the holidays, like I know it does get hard with her because she's just like, I want to be at your house and this house, and I want to do Christmas with you guys, but I also want to do Christmas with my mom. And we're like, well, you tell us what you want that will help you, and we will work with that, right? And so like she'll be with her mom on Christmas morning and we'll get her Christmas evening, so we both can have her. But I feel that for Emily too. Like I'm just like, I just love that girl so much, and she has so much heart. And so when she feels like she's split, I'm just like, I know that the universe is going to guide her in such a good way because she's lucky to have you as her bonus mom, because you are a powerhouse. You have a great head on your shoulders. And I think one of the reasons that Emily is so guided towards you is because she's like, that's the life I want. And I
Mm-hmm.
want to emulate it. And you're such a good role model for her. So I just wanted you to
Absolutely.
know that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm sitting here listening to you two. I'm like, oh, I don't have kids and I don't have grief. And then I like a wave of emotion comes over me just thinking about. See, it's my turn.
It is. It's okay. Let it out.
Just thinking about my foster kiddo, which I think I've talked about. And you guys know that I'm a CASA, which is a court appointed special advocate for kids in foster care. She's 17. She doesn't have parents. Both of her biological parents have passed, and she is in a group home with other sibling groups. She is the oldest in the group home, and she quite literally has to watch other siblings be together and navigate things with each other and do the things around holidays for younger kids. Like the group home plans all kinds of activities for, go see Santa and go do the things that little kids want to do. But she's 17. She doesn't want to do those things. And I have been very intentional trying to see her more frequently this time of year. And every visit that we have, she makes comments about her mom.
It's okay.
She just wants her mom to make her dinner again. She wants to eat popcorn with her mom, the holiday popcorn tin. She's like, I remember when my mom used to get this for us, and we would all watch Christmas movies. And I want so badly to give her those experiences, but I'm a volunteer. It's a volunteer role. There are restrictions. There are things that I can and can't do. And it just sucks. It sucks to be able to know how she's feeling to some capacity, but also not, because I have two parents that are living. I just don't have that relationship with, but I do have those memories of, this is what you wake up and eat on Christmas. This is what you eat. Oh, excuse me. This is what you eat every year on Christmas Eve. These are the traditions. These are the things that you have. And I'm watching her. I'm watching her say things like, oh, my mom used to do that. Or this is something my mom and I used to do. This is something my brother and I used to do. Not being able to fix it. I mean, God, we just talked about that on the last episode.
Mhm.
Not being able to fix it, not being able to give them the things that you want to give them, just being there to hold space. And when I dropped her off last night, we went to the movies, and I got her a tin of popcorn and a Christmas blanket to have when she's doing her things at the group home. And I'm leaving. I'm walking back to my car. She opens the door. She said, I said I love you. And I turned around and I was like, I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. There's so much going on in the group home. I was like, I love you too, sweetie. And she goes, thank you. And like slams the door. It goes about her business. But I just, it sucks. It sucks when you can't. Like I can't do things that I want to do because of restrictions, confidentiality, limitations. Like I get it. Because I feel the same way with my kids at school. We have an angel tree. We have 17 kids at my school that need help with Christmas. And I want to give it to all 17. Like you just can't. And for you to, with your navigating your households, navigating co-parenting, navigating all of the big emotions and feelings for your little tiny humans, and then also be your adult self, navigating the shit that is tied to that, because, we didn't get here just because the 15-year-old was having feelings, or how old is Davina? 11, 10, 12, however
She
old
just
she
turned
is.
10.
10. we didn't get here because the 10-year-old had feelings. You know, we got here because of the experiences that we're having as family units, as people together. And then we're just like, yay, Christmas, put up the Christmas tree, hang up the lights, and we're going to go on Christmas break and everything's going to be hunky dory. And like, it's not. It's
Yeah.
not.
Well, and that's
It's
the
not.
hard thing too, right? Like, and I know in my previous relationship, and there will be different opinions on this. This is my opinion. But in my last relationship, it was everything that I get the kids stays here. It does not move. It does not leave this premise. And then, like what I'm in with now, honestly, if she takes all of the things that we give her and she takes it to her mom's, like, whatever, like, we don't care. And I know that there's a lot of people that will not agree with that because they're like, that's my money and blah, blah. You know what? Like, Sarah is raising the kid no different than I am raising a kid, right? And Davina is there. And if I buy her something that she loves and she can only have it here, like, that's fucking bullshit. Like, she should be able to enjoy whatever it is there, and vice versa. When she gets something cool at her mom's, she brings it to our house. And sometimes it gets back, sometimes it takes 6 months because it's a kid's room and Lord knows what happens in that vortex. You know what I mean? What can you do? Because it is hard. Like, I think back just to like you, Mandy. Like, I grew up next to all my cousins, my grandparents, like, big family, like, throw shit around. And now it's, me and Rick and Davina. And
Literally.
I chose to move away. And I know that my family sometimes has a hard time with the fact that I don't live close because we are a very close knit family. And so, like, I have to deal with those things too because it is a lot easier for me to fly home to Wisconsin than it is for them to come here. And I've always been the travel friend. I probably always will be the travel friend that flies and goes
Bless you both.
that goes and does all the things, right? But what can we do? Like, because we are adults and we see ourselves in our kids and we're like, what can we do to help? Because again, it goes back to the last episode. Our parents did the best with what they had at the time that they did. Bless them for raising us in the 90s and the early teens. And then, like, now we are doing the best that we can for them. Like, Mandy, you with your fosters and your kids in school, and like Mary, you and I doing the blended family. Like, at the end of the day, we're just doing the best we can. And I am proud of both of you for opening your heart to all of the people because I think that even if you smile at a stranger, like, I don't know what's going on in your life, right? But one smile, they could be like, oh my gosh, this person smiled at me today. Like, you don't have to give things. And I think that's my biggest qualm about Christmas is I need to buy my kids all these expensive things, blah, blah, blah. First of all, that is not what Christmas is about. It's about coming together and being appreciative. And like, some people don't have families and some people don't have other people. Hello, Kobe dog. Hi, ma'am. Hi, ma'am. And so just being kind to other people and giving them a smile, holding open the door, seeing that they're frustrated in line and being like, do you want to check out? Like, I'm not in any rush. Like, you want to go? And they're like, oh my God, no, I don't have to. It's like just doing kind gestures, like understanding that the world is so dark right now that being kind and offering kind gestures to other people is invaluable. And so, without me going on too much of a tangent on that, I just would like to put that out into the universe.
Well, and I'd like to even just like baseline, don't be a dick. Like baseline. Okay, if you can't be kind, you could be neutral. You could not be a dick. You could not be hateful around. I mean, again, and there's all kinds of holidays happening this time of year with different religions and cultures and things, but we're all navigating because usually tradition is tied to whatever the holiday is. And tradition is tied to family traditions and it's tied to expectations. And it is tied to, well, this is how we've always done it. This is what it's always looked like. This is what it's always been. And we just don't live in that world. We do not live in that world. And if you're not given the tools or if you've never had an example of how to navigate a change like that, you're just sitting here with all these emotions and not recognizing that it's grief. Because I think we talk about grief, people automatically think somebody has died. I have lost someone physically. Physically, that person is not in my life. And grief is so convoluted. It's so many things because it is grief of the life I wanted, grief of the life that I had, grief of the actual person that's not here anymore, or grief of the tradition of the household, whatever it is. Like, grief is so, so heavy and so avoided. I think so many of us avoid naming it. And it's just, oh, I'm angry at this person, situation, place, thing, or I'm sad about this. And it's like, hi, hello, that's grief.
Right. And when you name it, it really can change how you manage it, how you cope with it. And it can really release you from those stages of grief that keep you stuck in it. And so you're talking about like how to like manage those things and people not always knowing. And so I just to give some help and guidance with that. In the sense of traditions go. One that I often find myself talking to people about, and I know myself in college even had to like figure out and identify when you're experiencing the lack of the traditions that you're used to and you're not sure what to do. Instead of looking at it as lack, pivot the mind and think about what is it that I get to create out of
Yes.
this? And so the example that I can give for that, I recently talked with a girl who was her first Thanksgiving by herself. And so in changing that perspective and talking to her about like, well, what does it normally look like? And then I'm like, okay. And so now it's just you. So how would you want it to look like? Like what was something maybe you want to do that you've never gotten to do kind of thing? And well, I'm not going to cook a bunch of Thanksgiving for just myself, right? But I love this type of food. I'm like, cool. So
Hmm.
order that day. Have
Hmm.
that day. Maybe you're going to go do a new hobby that you like. Maybe there's a painting class or something that you're interested in and you're going to sign up and you're going to go do that over Thanksgiving weekend or and it's finding those things that for you create that. And I know for me I can say that every Thanksgiving, I would always get dressed up. We'd always go in big family, lots of family. Whereas Christmas was more just intimate. We would do dinner eventually with more family. Like Christmas itself was just my parents and my siblings and I. And I know that in the last 2 years, I have had Thanksgiving and it's just been either my girls and me and my brother. And that's probably it. Right. And so last year, I didn't even get out of my pajamas. This year, yeah, I got out of my pajamas, put on some different like lounge wear, but I didn't get like done up, ready, any of that stuff. And I was like, you know what? I actually kind of love this. I think Thanksgiving should be in your comfies and just relaxed and no tension and pressure.
How
And you
else
cook
are you
with the
supposed to
stove.
And
eat all that
Right.
food? I can't eat
Sure.
food in tight ass jeans.
But I was just so used to, and it was funny because I watched for the first time like fully the Macy Day parade. And Mandy was like,
It's so
"Honey,"
good.
and I
it's
was
my
like,
favorite
"These
thing.
are."
I've never watched it.
So for Thanksgiving, my family would always like I'd get up and it'd be immediately be helping mom and doing things, at least as far as like memories that I can
Hmm.
recall, right? Of like helping mom immediately because it wouldn't be long and people would start showing up. But also football started really early and
Hmm.
usually in the middle of the parade or the beginning of the parade. And so football was on our TV. And my family, big football people, like to watch the pre-football show stuff.
Hmm.
So like that was on, right? And I remember sometimes maybe the parade being on for a little bit, but I didn't just sit down and watch it because I was in the kitchen helping and things like that. And so this year we watched the parade and I was like, and Zelda really loved it because her sister unfortunately wasn't with us this year, but we watched it and I was like, maybe this is going to be Zelda and I's tradition. That on the years that we don't unfortunately have her sister, her and I are going to wake up and be in bed and watch this.
I love
And I love
influencing
that.
Zelda.
And so it's pivoting that rather
Mandy's
than
here for it.
staying focused on the sad, that it's just her and me, and my brother, but my brother wasn't awake yet. So whatever. So like, it was, so yeah, I just give
I
yourself the grace and the freedom of it doesn't look like how it did or how you thought or how you want, maybe even. But what could you try and create for yourself? I think one
yes.
year I even told somebody, like, go get the pajamas anyways, like, because their family would always like have Christmas pajamas and do something. I'm like, so
Hmm.
go get them. Like,
Hmm.
go
I
go get the Christmas pajama. Go do it anyways.
my foster kid had made a comment about that. And I think I shared this on an episode of how she wanted to go do a Christmas movie in her Christmas pajamas, but all of her friends were too nonchalant. And she's thinking about, who's chalant? Who would she goes, Miss Mandy. Miss Mandy is chalant. I was like, oh, I'm the biggest chalanter you're ever going to meet. And in that moment, I had given her her Burr basket and it had pajamas, just pajamas in it. And I said, okay, so you could tell me no, or my dog and I also have matching pajamas. So you would be matching us. And she goes, oh my God, yes, that's so cute. I'm like, usually it's just me and my dog and our matching ass pajamas because that's the fuck I want. And so that's what I do. And this year I was like, I don't know, she might hate it. I'll tell her to take them back. But she's like, no, I love that. I love knowing that your dog and I are going to match. And I was like, that's fuck yes. And I love my traditions. I eat Chinese food on Christmas Eve now because my favorite Chinese place is open and I love to support the local business. And I love getting to do whatever the fuck I want on my timeline, Kobe dog. I love not getting screamed at, yelled at about what time are you going to be here? When are you going to be here? Why aren't you here? And I'm like, listen, I'm going to be there when I'm going to be there because that's always been my attitude. I will be there when I'm going to be there. And I like to leave when I want to leave. And I just want to eat the stuff that I want to eat. And I want to lay on my own damn couch. I don't want to fight with anyone. I don't want to fight over the football game versus the parade. I want to do what I want to do. And I think that that's once you get to the acceptance part of grief, you can accept and move forward with, okay, this is my life. This is how I have created the joy and found the joy in my life. Mm-hmm.
And I think Cassie had talked about, going back home and like it being easier for her. I know that was a part too, that having kids, like, for the longest time living close by, still doing holidays with family, things like that. But that even that started to shift before we moved away to where we were doing less, but it was because our kids, you want to have time at home with the toys and the things when you wake up and you don't want to have to rush off to go places and things like that. And I know. So when we moved here and even, after divorces, like we went back a couple times for holiday, but for the most part, we stay here. And, lovely, my parents are where they can fly and travel. And if they want to come see us, they do and things like that. But it's okay to not have to be the hustle and bustle and have to go
Mm-hmm.
home for the holidays. And it's okay to say my family or just me are going to do something different this year. And that's okay to do that. And it's also okay to do that, but still grieve what you're transitioning out of, what maybe is changing or being lost.
Mm-hmm.
And so it, as we always say, is being able to hold the space for both. It is the iridescent.
Mm-hmm.
It is two things can be true at once. And that this holiday season, if you're going through loss, whether it is somebody who passed or whether it is just the change of time for you, we hope that you all give yourself the space to feel those emotions and also open yourself up to what new beautiful thing
Mm-hmm.
can come from it.
And because this is on my mind, I'm quite literally creating content for the students at my school over winter break of just what do we do when we feel stuck, or how do we, what are the things, what are the tangible things that I could be doing? Because, Mary and Cassie and I can sit here and tell you like hold space. And like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, what do you mean? Like for my young people and maybe for my adults too. Routines, sticking to routines. We get out of our routine really quickly this time of year because of the hustle and bustle and I got to do this and I got to do that. And I'm like, I have to have some sort of routine. It has to be, I wake up, I walk bug, I come and I have breakfast and I do my little scrolly scroll. I think about what I'm going to do for the day. Like I have to stick with my routine, else I get outside of my window of tolerance. And then I'm overwhelmed and then I want to shut down and then I don't want to see any of you motherfuckers. I have to stay in my routine. So know that I'm going to be there when I'm going to be there because I've got to get through my cycle first. I also talk to young people, also probably myself, about our habits. And you have to hydrate. Okay. You have to actually have water. Water has to touch your soul. so you're not a dehydrated little plant, little house plant. But to that note, house plant, go outside, get the sunlight, touch the grass, hug a tree. Like, you have to center and ground yourself in those moments and do the basic things. You have to eat food, actual food. Okay, as much as I want to live on Christmas tree cakes this time of year, that doesn't do good things to our body. You give your body sugar and it's like, what the fuck? And then we start spiraling and then we're panicking. And then I'm out of my routine and I haven't had protein in 8 hours and we crash. And I'm ignoring the group chat. I'm not talking to my family. I'm not doing anything. We've got to gently remind ourselves, like, we are humans first, we are holiday humans second. And just, yes, when you get those big emotions, when you start feeling grief, you start noticing, like, I want to be joyful, but I'm also sad about this. Like, what is your comfort? What is your comfort thing? Are you going to go sit in your comfort chair? Am I going to, like, literally just hug myself for a minute? Am I going to go light a candle, listen to a playlist? Like, having your toolbox, right? Knowing that I have the tools, but I need to make sure they're all in the toolbox before we go into this season, before we transition into this, can be really helpful. And then just sometimes it just sucks, okay? And we're crying in a closet, our car, the shower, whatever it is. That's okay. That's okay. Sometimes it just has to happen.
Well, I tell people, set a timer if you have to.
Mhm.
Like, if you feel those emotions coming up and you're like, I don't have time for this because I got to do XYZ, like, no, go to whatever space you
Mhm.
need,
Mhm.
set the timer, literally 2 minutes. That's all and
Feel it.
just feel it. Whatever comes out, cry, scream, curse, say all the things out loud that's running through your head, journal, whatever. Like, and then when the timer goes off, take a deep breath, say, I'm done with this for now, and go on to whatever it is you feel like you have to do next, or whatever thing it is that comforts you, or
Mhm.
You know what I say when I do that? I go,
Mhm.
inhale good shit, exhale bullshit.
right.
I think of the meme or the video of, like, when the Grinch is doing yoga and they're all like, gotta listen. This time of year, I read somewhere they said December is National Stress Free Month. LO fucking L. I don't know who was trying to reclaim that, rename that, but I don't think anyone got the memo because what? Like, what?
I
Yes,
would
I
go
want
with
it to be
I would go with a depression month because it's dark
exactly.
out, not a happy
Yeah,
month.
Exactly. That part too. We don't even talk about that part of
right,
grieving and it's dark at 4:27 p.m. and your little seasonal affective disorder is like,
right.
I'm
Absolutely,
sad.
100%.
Yes.
Right. I actually just talked to somebody about this, that I was like, the reason partly that holidays always feel so much heavier outside of the things that we've all just talked about is because we have now been over a month into the time
Mhm.
change to where it's getting darker out.
Mhm.
And for most places, it is finally set in the coldness
Mhm.
of the year. And so once you hit a little bit, like a month or a little bit longer, then our bodies now are
Mhm.
like, okay, this is real. This is really happening. This is
Mhm.
miserable. I hate this. Right. And so, like you were saying about like go get sunlight, I have told people, I'm like, you know what? I love to be in the dark as much as the next person,
Mhm.
but open the
Oop.
blinds,
You
let
have to do it.
sunlight in. Because
Mhm.
if you do, then when it is dark outside, it registers different versus if you stay in the dark all day long and then it is dark outside, it is heavier.
You're
Sunlight.
a little chicken nugget, okay? You need a little heat lamp. We need a little sun to keep us
Yeah.
crispy and juicy, all right?
So even if you don't go outside, at least open the blinds.
Yes.
Let some natural sun hit you.
We're laughing, but it's the simple things that we forget to do this time of year because we get out of the routines. We get out of what is familiar, but you have to go back to the basics. You have to go back to the basics and what? Put your own oxygen mask on. You have to take
Yes.
care of you.
Yes. And just remember that whatever magic you're looking for in a holiday season, whatever good feeling holiday that you're looking for, maybe never even had, it really does begin with you.
Mhm.
And you can bring it however you want, in whatever fashion you want, whether it's Chinese food, whether it's just you and your family, whether it's splitting the holiday, it's in you. That's what is special about the holidays. All right. Well, I guess with that, we will end today. It's a bit heavier than normal. Just know you're not alone. Reach out to those that you can and go be all that you are. Bye.